Hello, hello, my beautiful people. It is your girl, Jackie B, back at it again with another Tea with Jackie B. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Wednesday. I had to remember what day it was for a second. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Wednesday. I am sending positive vibes, love and light, all that stuff from me to you through the screen. Take them. And I'm hopping on live real quick because I really want to take a moment to discuss this video that I watched by Teal Swan this morning. You guys know that I love Teal Swan. The way she speaks, thinks is just incredible. One of my favorite people. But she had a video that really caught my attention, and it's entitled, hold on, I don't want to get this wrong. Do you need a scapegoat to make your relationship work? And
customize your emails using our split.
Whoa, sorry about that. And this video caught my attention for multiple reasons. One, because it is something that I can relate to personally, as it is something that I have personally gone through. And it's also something that I have noticed other people going through. Friends of mine, strangers, movies, TVs, we see this often. This story played out of one person in a relationship finding a bad guy or bad person outside of the relationship and blaming that person for all of their problems. So I think the most common example that everyone can understand and relate to is if you are dating someone who still has their ex in their life. If you're dating someone who's friends with their ex, works with their ex, is around their ex, something like that, right? So if you're dating someone who's with their ex, friends with their ex, all the good stuff, we have a tendency to make that person the bad guy, make that person the problem. And you think that because the person you're dating still has their ex in their life, that is why you guys are having issues, or why that's what's causing the problem. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to gaslight anybody who really may be experiencing problems in their relationship because of their partner being close with their ex. But I'm talking in the sense of deflection. I'm talking about having a bad guy outside of your relationship to deflect from the bigger picture. Because the truth for a lot of us is that you feel really bad about yourself. You have low self-esteem and you are competitive with anything that takes the attention away from you. And so because of that, you tend to attract people, or you tend to date people that have a lot of priorities or a lot of things on their to-do list, so that you can make them compete or compare those things to you. So you'll find someone, who has a job, who's trying to work on this, focusing on this, and then add on that they are friends with their ex or have their ex in their life. Now you can pick which one of those things in their life you want to compete with, because you think that your self-worth and your self-esteem is determined by how that person in your relationship is treating you. And so you're making them compare everything in their life to you because you so badly need them to choose you, because you don't feel worthy or valid unless that person chooses you. And so if you find yourself in this situation, if you're noticing that you're deflecting the real problem in a relationship by having a scapegoat, by having a bad guy, there are some questions that she laid out. So the first question she said was, what would be so bad about admitting there are incompatibilities in the relationship, or that it has problems? And I love that. I think that's a great question. I'll even give you an answer. And so the reality is that people don't want to admit that there are problems. There are problems. People don't want to admit that they're not compatible with the person that they're with or their partner. They don't want to admit that. They don't want to be like, maybe we're not supposed to be together. So instead, you find somebody outside the relationship, or you find something outside of the relationship, and you go, ooh, that's our problem. If we didn't have that, everything would be just fine because we're compatible. We're meant to be. We're so in love. And I was just like, Question 2. Pretend that the specific person or the problem doesn't exist, or that it's exactly as you would want it to be. Does the problem go away completely, or does it manifest somewhere else? So pretend that the person that you're with doesn't know their ex, isn't close with their ex, has no contact with their ex whatsoever. Everything turns out like a fairy shows up, snap their fingers, and like, bam, everything is the way that it should be. Does the problem go away? Does the issue that you have with your partner go away? Like, was the problem that person, or are you just going to find something else to be the bad guy? Are you just going to pick something else to avoid the fact that you and that person want different things? You live different lifestyles. You have different expectations in the relationship. And so the problem is not the external thing. It's not the thing outside the relationship. The problem is that you and your partner, or the person you're with, you have two totally different ideas of what a relationship should look like and how you want your lives to look. If you are with somebody who is friends with their ex, that is because you are with someone who does not see that as a problem. They want to live the lifestyle of being able to be friends with their ex and still date or have partners that are okay with them being friends with their ex. If you are not okay with that, That means that you are the type of person who is not okay with that. And so the problem is not the ex that your partner or whoever is friends with. The problem is that you are with someone who is okay with that and you're not. You're incompatible. You have two different ideas, two different expectations, two different pages that you want to be on. The problem is not the person. The problem is that you guys are different. And so you have to ask yourself, what are you not admitting? What are you not admitting to? What are you not being honest about? You don't want to admit that you and your partner are competing because you have different lifestyles. You have different expectations. And my mind really exploded with that because I have been in a situation where I did not like that the person that I was with was friends with their ex. That bothered me. I was really jealous about it. But I had to be honest with myself and be like, damn, I'm insecure. That's why I don't like that he's friends with his ex. It makes me feel some type of way. She's not really the problem. The problem is that he is okay with being his friends with his ex. I am not okay with that. That's a difference that we have. It has nothing to do with the ex. And so when you can't be prioritized the way that you want to be, you don't want anyone around your partner that conflicts with your needs. Not theirs, yours. Because remember, you have to be the priority. You have to be chosen first. You have to be put before everything else. And so you don't want anything in your partner's life or anything around your partner that conflicts with your need, not theirs need. Remember, it's yours. You're making it all about you when you do that. And so she followed it. Oh, wait, no, there's two more. Ooh, two more. Thought I was almost done. So the third question: if you knew without a doubt that the external problem within your relationship is actually a manifestation of a problem that is internal to the relationship, what might that problem be? Now, everyone is going to have a different answer, a different response. If you ask me, I'm going to say insecurity. It's insecurity. It is needing validation from your partner. It is needing, or it is you thinking that that person makes you complete or makes you whole and not coming into a relationship as your full self. Because if you're with someone and you have a problem that they're friends with their ex, okay, well then sure, let's just say that that's a manifestation of something that's really going on. That's a reflection of something that's really going on. What would it be? You're going to have something that comes to your mind, and that's probably the answer to your question. And so the problem that you think you have with your partner being friends with their ex or close with their ex or whatever, it's just an external manifestation of the deep insecurity that's inherent to the importance relative to their prioritization. You do not like their priorities. You do not like how they prioritize things, and you don't like that you're at the top of that list. And because their priorities are totally different from your priorities, that is why the relationship is having a disconnect. It has nothing to do with the other person. It has nothing to do with the external factor. You are having a disconnect because your partner wants this and you want that. Your partner wants this and you want that. It has nothing to do with the other person. A relationship is two people. It does not have to be three. You make it three whenever you think that the problem that you and this person has, that this person has, is this person. That don't make no sense. It's just y'all. It's just y'all. And so the final question is, what would happen in the relationship if that person was gone? Like if they just disappear, snap your fingers and like that person disappears and that you never see from or hear from her again. And a lot of people are going to have the tendency, or a lot of people, they're going to want to answer that question. Well, the relationship would be fine. The relationship would be solved. If that person disappeared, if they stopped talking to their ex, if they weren't friends with their ex, we won't have any more problems. And when you answer that way, you just answered a trick question. Because if you answer that way, if you think the relationship between you and your partner will be fine, if this person just disappears off the face of the planet, you're not in reality about relationships in general. You're not in reality about the relationship that you're in, and you're not in reality about about the particular relationship that you're in. Like you're not in reality about relationships that you're in and the one that you're currently in. Because the hard truth is that every external problem that you face is a reflection or indication of a problem within the relationship. Everything that you think is because of this and because of that, it is because it is a reflection of something that you have going on between you and your partner. And so another example that she gave that I really liked and could relate to, because I have a few friends that are in relationships with people in the military. She says, let's say a husband and wife, they get married. He's in the army. He gets deployed. He has to go far off somewhere. She has to stay at home, take care of the house, raise the kids all by herself. In her mind, she thinks the army is the problem. She thinks his job is the problem. Oh, if he wasn't in the army, we wouldn't be having any of these issues. He's in the army and that's why we're struggling. The reality is, you are the type of woman who wants to be with a man who wants to be at home and help you take care of the kids and be a homeworker or home, whatever, and be there with you. While he is the type of man who does not want to be home. He does not want to be, at home doing this and that. He wants to be with the woman who wants to stay home and take care of his kids. So the problem is not the army. The problem is that you are with someone who has completely different wants and needs, and it's incompatible. And because you are not willing to admit to that incompatibility, because you don't want to admit that this may not be someone who is suited for you, you find things outside of the relationship to blame. You find things external, because we all know we don't like to go internal. We hate going internal. We hate being aware about what's really going on inside of us. So we love to look out, and we love to find shit outside of us to blame it on. And that's exactly what you're doing. And so the shadow work question of the day that she kind of like gave at the end, and it's not supposed to be a shadow work question, but I'm going to use it as one because this is something that I personally want to kind of look more into for myself. But she said, what are the real issues that are internal to you, internal to the other person, and internal to you both, which are manifesting as this external problem? So let's say that my girlfriend is really good friends with her ex. And I think that because she's friends with her ex, that's why we're having problems. She's friends with her ex, and that's why we're having all these issues. If she wasn't friends with her ex, we would be just fine. What are the real issues that are internal to you? The real issue that would be internal to me would be me not trusting her and me being insecure and needing validation for her and me wanting her to prioritize me and put me first above everything else. The internal issue to the other person could be them admitting or kind of having to be aware of they're with someone that does not have the same wants and needs as them. And you try to, manipulate and compromise them into being the same as you. And the internal to which are manifesting the internal problem for both, I think kind of goes back to that incompatibility. The reason that you think them being friends with their ex is the problem is because you don't want to admit that you're really insecure, and you can't be vulnerable enough with your partner to tell them like, hey, I'm feeling some type of way because this is not the type of relationship that I want. This is not something that I'm okay with, because they might disagree and you don't want to risk disagreeing because then y'all might have to break up, and that's just something else you want to avoid. And so it's just, the actual problem is going to go unresolved for days, for weeks, for years. You're avoiding some type of intense short-term pain. It is a very intense short-term pain to be honest and vulnerable with somebody. It's very painful, but it is very short-lived and short-term. Like you do it, it's just like, but it feels great. But you're avoiding that because you can't face like this chronic underlying conflict that you're having inside that you think you can handle. You think you can handle this internal conflict going on inside of you. So you're avoiding something that you actually could handle in the real world because you think that you can handle the shit in here. But if you really could handle the shit in here, all that shit out there wouldn't be happening in the first place. Sips tea. You have to understand the long-term consequences of not allowing what's going on in here to match what's going on out here, because way too often, and I'm speaking from experience, I'm not being a hypocrite, like I do some of this same shit, but I'm always striving for this to match this, not mirror. I don't want that shit to mirror what's in here. And even if it does mirror, I want it to be a pleasant experience. I want great things mirrored back at me. I want positive things mirrored back at me. I don't want the shit that I'm avoiding and scared of to be mirrored back at me, because that makes everything scary. And that's exactly what happens when you're in a relationship and you pick something external to be the cause of the issue. When you think something outside of the relationship is the problem, you are allowing those parts of you that you are avoiding to take control. You are allowing those parts of you that you don't like fucking with to fuck with you. That's what you're doing. And that's not how she said it. I definitely put my own Jackie B spin on it, but y'all get the gist. Y'all get the point. And so if you find yourself in a relationship and y'all are in this situation to where something is feeling off, something's feeling different, something is just making you feel uneasy, different, off balance, whatever you want to call it, and you think that it's something external, you think it's a person, you think it's their job, you think it's their parents, you think it's something outside of the two of you, there's something that you need to look within and talk about and figure out. Because the problem is not external. The problem is between you and that person, and it's internal, and it's all being fucking reflected and mixed up. So, yeah. That's the tea with Jackie B. And I definitely want to get back on watching more of my Teal Swan videos, because she's amazing. And every time I watch one of her videos afterwards, I always just feel so enlightened and refreshed. And yeah, I will talk about her to the day I die. So I hope y'all get sick of it, because she's fucking amazing. But I am going to hop off. I'm going to answer this question that I was telling you guys about. I hope that you guys I hope that I hope that you guys enjoyed the tea, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon. Much love.